Welcome to Pagenews.gr. It is a privilege to speak with the Ambassador of Israel to Greece, Nόαμ Κατς, at a time of heightened geopolitical tension in the Middle East. Israel's resilient strategic partnerships and technological innovation continue to make it a key pillar of regional stability. Today we explore the Ambassador's perspective on recent developments, Israel's strategic priorities and its growing collaboration with Greece. At this point, I would like to warmly welcome the Ambassador of Israel to Greece, Mr. Nόαμ Κατς. Hello, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you so much. From all the team of Pagenews.gr. I would like to begin with the following question about the recent US-Israel military engagement with Iran. Many analysts describe this as the most serious escalation in the Middle East since the 1973 war. How does Israel perceive the new geopolitical balance in the region?
Well, since its establishment, the Iranian Ayatollah regime declared that he is committed to the annihilation of the State of Israel. It's one of the core beliefs of its ideology. It wasn't only statement, but Iran developed the means in order to do that. They started to develop a military and nuclear program. They developed their ballistic capabilities. They built armies of terror in states that are surrounding Israel and within the Middle East, like the terror army of Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, the Hamas in Gaza. And we're working in action in order to promote their own goal. So we are in an ongoing military conflict with Iran for a long time. This American-Israeli operation that is led by the United States and by its President Trump is aiming to destroy the threatening capacity of Iran on the entire region and beyond. So the first objective is to destroy their ballistic capability, the launchers, the stockpiles of ballistic missiles, and their production capacity.
Is Iran the only threat, or are there other regional players?
Yes, all this capacity is, as it's been exampled by the reality, is reaching from Cyprus to all the Gulf states. More than 12 countries, including Turkey, including Azerbaijan, were attacked by Iran during this engagement. By the way, without provocation, without being involved in the Israeli-American operation. So it's the ballistic capacity, it's the nuclear capacity that is threatening the world order and world peace and security, and other capacities that are related, like the military naval capacity of Iran that is involved constantly in threatening the chains of supply and the freedom of navigation.
I want to ask something.
These are the objectives. We believe that the operation will create some cracks within Iraq, by the way, by the hits that we are giving to the repressive capacity of this regime that might allow the Iranian people to take their own future in their own hand and to change the regime within Iran. But the objectives are to remove an imminent, unprecedented threat from an Israeli perspective to Israel, but a threat to the entire region from Europe up to the system, international system.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently stated that the war with Iran will not last years and will not become an endless war. How realistic is this assessment today?
I think it's very realistic. As I said, we didn't give time frame for the operation. What we set are objectives, and when these objectives will be achieved, and we believe that the operation are going along plan even faster than the plan. we will be able to remove those threats. As I said, I also hope for a change within Iran, but first, the real objective is to remove the threats, and the Israeli forces, together with the American forces, in our opinion, are capable to achieve the goal.
Okay. About nuclear program, Israel has long maintained that Iran's nuclear program poses an existential threat. What would you identify as the red line for Israel's security?
Iran was deceiving the world for long, and diplomacy was futile. It didn't yield real agreement that stopped the Iranians from the race to develop their nuclear military capacity. Military capacity demands a few elements. It demands enrichment capacity and enough enriched materials to create a bomb. It needs a weaponization process that will allow to build a bomb out of these materials, and they need ballistic capacity in order to carry those nuclear bombs to their targets. Iran mastered ballistic capacity, as we all see through the recent eventualities. Iran managed to reach a capacity of enriching, which much of it was destroyed during the June operation against Iran, and Iran continued extensively with the weaponization process. And as you know, we reported that during this operation, we destroyed fully in a very hidden and covert facility, nuclear facility, research facility in Tehran itself. So they are continuing, and what was changing between June and between this time is that the Iranian understanding that they have to get some immunity for their programs, they started to dig in underground and to put them in places that will be beyond the reach of the United States or Israel. And that was one of the main reasons why we decided to go into the operation now. They were building and progressing with that plan very fast since June last year.
Is it primarily a nuclear issue or Iran's strategic presence in the Middle East?
On the contrary, we don't have really a conflict with Iran. We do not share borders. The enmity between Iran or the enmity of Iran towards Israel is a strategic decision of this government of the Ayatollahs, very radical, ideological regime, and in this case, like father, like son, that replaced him, and the Revolutionary Guard. There is no reason to be in conflict. The hegemonic ambitions are coming from Iran and not from its neighboring countries.
Okay, it's clear. US President Donald Trump stated that ending the war with Iran will be a mutual decision with Prime Minister Netanyahu. How deep is the strategic coordination between the US and Israel today?
Well, we have strong ironclad relations with the United States along the years. And I think that there is also very close relations and chemistry between the President of the United States and between Prime Minister Netanyahu. United States is the main force within the world that acts as a stabilizer. We think about war, but this war is to stabilize the Middle East and not to destabilize it. And we are lucky that President Trump has the courage, the leadership, and the determination to change the reality. He led peace in the Middle East in his first term with the Abraham Accord, and I think that following the eventualities, we will be better positioned in the region to expand relations within the region between the pragmatic forces and to bring more stability to the Middle East.
And now, Mr. Ambassador, we want to ask a very interesting question about Greece and Israel and Greece. In recent years, the Israel-Greece strategic partnership has strengthened significantly in defense, energy, technology, etc. What do you see as the most important shared geopolitical interest between the two countries?
I think that when we look west, we see Greece and Cyprus, and this is the quietest border of the State of Israel. We have an interest in cementing the relations between our both countries in order to bring more prosperity for our both societies. And at the same time, we have a certain vision of connectivity that we all be part of it. So it's an alliance that's supposed to better the life of people in each country, but also to serve growing stability and to serve as a bridge in the future between the Indo-Pacific and Europe. Both countries share the vision that we can be a crucial, important part of new complementing and supplementing chains of supply, whether it's energy, commerce, or data cables that will go through the Middle East and will increase the stability and the ability of each of our countries to deal with the challenges. We have some challenges that are regional challenges that we have to cope, from climate to security. And I think that with all that, we can do more to the benefit of the region on its stability.
Now, one question about the economy, because the war is estimated to cost Israel up to $2.9 billion per week. How resilient is Israel's economy to a prolonged conflict?
Well, if you would ask me this question, let's say October or November 23, my answer would be different. I think that the data proves that the Israel economy is extremely resilient and capable. In fact, only one quarter at the beginning or the end of 23, beginning of 24, we have a drop in our growth. And since then, the Israeli growth of economy is going steadily up, despite of the war. We have economic engines that are very strong and very capable. One of them, of course, is, as you mentioned, is our capacity in the field of technology and startups and innovation. Also, our military industries that involve a lot of technology in them are very capable and successful. And the Israeli system proven to be extremely resilient. We have more expenses, but even with those expenses, our ratio between production and debt is better than most of the European countries and the successful economies of the world.
8%. I have data about 8% of defense spending in Israel GDP.
Yes. It's natural. We have a growth of our defense spending. We are in a war, and we are in a very sophisticated and demanding war. Having said that, we are standing in our economy, and the rating companies that were worried in 23, 24 return to give us a high rating again for our economic resilience and performances.
I have two more questions. About the one is for Strait of Hormuz. The crisis also impacts the global economy, especially through the Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly 20% of the world's oil passes. How likely do you consider a global energy crisis?
Well, the war, wars, and especially wars in areas that you have massive production, create some difficulties and challenges to the countries that are impacted by that. We've seen it with after the invasion of Russia to Ukraine, and with the rise of prices of energy in Europe and in other places. And we see it now, but we see that it is under control. The jump in prices of barrels of oil
Yes.
Was stopping, and in fact was going down. It's a combination of the ability to deal with the crisis. Part of it will be in keeping the Strait of Hormuz open through the military operation and escort of the American forces that are committed for that. Part of it is by diverting to other routes. Part of it will be by using some of the reserves that countries keep exactly for that purpose, and part of it will be by increasing production and trade that is coming from other parts of the world. And let me remind everybody that the biggest supplier of energy in the world is still the United States, and I believe that the market will be stabilized.
It is important to say about 20% of global oil passes through the strait. Οπότε it's so important to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, I think that will be done. I think that the Americans are giving it a lot of attention. We heard the President of the United States speaking about it yesterday. As I said, I believe that they will be able to deal with it.
One last question about following the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the rise of his son Mojtaba Khamenei as the new leader. How does Israel view Iran's new leadership?
Well, as I said before, I think that father like son. Mojtaba Khamenei is recorded as one of the hardliners in the past. If Iran is going to keep its current regime, it will stay a very tough regime. We hope that eventually the cracks and this war will lead to a change within Iran. We cannot engineer governments and internal structure in other countries, but we believe that the heat that we give to this regime maybe will release its ability to repress and to oppress the Iranian people, and that will lead eventually to a change.
Do you foresee further escalation, or could this lead to a different strategic approach by Iran? If
Iran will change its approach, will be ready to be a constructive player on world agenda, I think that everybody will be happy. First and most in our own region, its neighbors, and that is surrounding it, and in the wider region. The main problem, as I said, is not Iran. It's the current administration and its policies and ideologies. Policies and ideologies that are backed by action, that was constant destabilizer since the Iranian Revolution. That has to be changed. If that will be changed, Iran will become immediately a partner. Iran is a strong, important country within the region of the Middle East with a magnificent history, tradition, and culture, and it deserves to be a prominent member of the countries on the international agenda, international fora, and in our region. For that, we need a different type of regime, a different type of government that will be committed to collaboration and not to creating terroristic or subversive activities among all its neighbors. to stop proliferation of weapons and to support terror armies from Yemen through Iraq up to Lebanon. If that will be changed, it will be a totally different reality.
Mr. Ambassador, I want one question about Lebanon and all the conflict in the area.
Okay, thank you for raising the issue. You know,
Yes.
The Hezbollah, the terror army of the Hezbollah, decided to join Iran in attacking Israel. And at the moment, there is an Israeli operation to hit the Hezbollah and to reduce its power in a very interesting way. The Hezbollah is serving the interest of the Iranian regime and not of the Lebanese people, and the government of Lebanon took some very important decision to outlaw the activity of the Hezbollah. Unfortunately, this government in Lebanon is lacking the capacity to deal with the Hezbollah. The Hezbollah is still stronger than the government and the army of Lebanon. So the main problem within Lebanon is how to get rid of this terror army that was raised and built and in fact is serving the interest of Iran within Lebanon. It's a challenge that we are all facing. I think that the Israeli action within Lebanon that are not aiming at the Lebanese people or at the Lebanese government or at the Lebanese state eventually will weaken the Hezbollah to the point that it will make it easier for the government in Lebanon to seize control.
It's different approaches from the Lebanon government and Hezbollah.
Well, yes, because the Lebanese government is aware that the Hezbollah is going against the policies and the decision of the state of Lebanon and maintaining its own capacity to launch wars against others, in this case against Israel.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, we have reached now in the end of the interview. Thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity to discuss these critical issues and look forward to continuing the strong partnership between Israel and of course Greece. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I share your wishes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.